Okay. That's probably Mr. Redinger then. Okay. We are live. Oh, you're live. Okay, thank you. Thanks. Okay, everybody, we're going to get started with the first meeting tonight. So I want to thank everybody for being here. We are going to start started with the community development portion of the meeting, and the first item is the approval of the July 27th, the August 31st, and the September 28th community development meeting minutes. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded.
Question.
Question on the motion. All those in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, item 2 is the matter of a request to rezone the property located at 1301 Lowell Street. This is Amoir. The said property is currently zoned as RMD, and they are asking to be rezoned to LI Light Industrial. This was approved by the Planning Commission on October 6th. And do we have anybody representing the company that wants to speak?
Hi, I'm Ty Stewart with Liberty Development Company. I'm here on behalf of Brad Maloof with Amware and Lowell Street Properties. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you. Yes, sir. Please
Okay.
state your name again for the record and address, please.
It's Ty Stewart, and I'm at 28045 Rainy Parkway, Suite E in Westlake, Ohio.
Thank you. Anything you'd want to tell us about this rezoning and any information you feel we should know?
No, first, I'd just like to thank you for considering this and for, I know the Planning Commission put a lot of hard work into this. We had originally applied to rezone to heavy industrial, but in conversations with Planning Commission, we've reconsidered to light industrial. I think that use will fit the proposed needs that we're looking at. We've been
Okay, thank you.
We've been working with the mayor and economic development on this for a few months now, and one of the steps to do the project that we're considering would be the rezoning.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any questions from anyone on the committee? Okay. Okay, seeing no one with their hands up or any questions, does the administration want to weigh in on this at all? Seeing a no. Okay. Anybody in the audience? No? Okay, we have Mr. Oswald.
It's getting rezoned, and it's is Amware putting on an additional bill? This has nothing to do with Amware, or help me out.
Okay, Mr. Stewart, if you'd like to weigh in on that.
Well, there's a project that Amware is working on, would be a separate freestanding building. That if we get rezoned and if we get a few other pieces and parts of the puzzle put together, that we would start construction on sometime probably first or second quarter of 2021.
Thank you. Okay. Are there any more questions? Okay, seeing none, I'll read the committee report. We have considered the matter a rezoning request by Amoir at 1301 Lowell Street. This would be an ordinance authorizing the request to rezone the property at 1301 Lowell Street from residential medium to light industrial. This matter was approved by the Planning Commission on October 6th. Could I get a motion from Community Development?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time and consideration.
You're welcome. Okay, item 3 is the matter of a request to rezone undeveloped property located on Midway Boulevard, adjacent to the existing Pikewood Manor properties. Is there anyone here that is representing Pikewood Manor? Oh, Mr. Monroe. Mr. Monroe, please state your name and address for the record, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I can assume you can all hear me all right.
We can hear you very good.
Thank you. My name is John Monroe. I'm with the law firm of Manser Gavin, LPA. My address is 1001 Lakeside Avenue, Cleveland, Ohio, 44114, and we represent the applicant O.H. Pikewood Manor, LLC.
Thank you. Is there anything you'd like to add any information you'd have for this committee?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I'm joined tonight by Jeff Yorick and Alan Patterson of UMH Properties, which is the company that owns this particular manufactured home community. I'm also joined by Dale Haywood from the Atwell Engineering firm. We are seeking a positive recommendation to the Elyria City Council there's actually 3 rezoning requests to permit the expansion of the existing Pikewood Manor manufactured home park to the parcels to the north. Several of the parcels are currently zoned light industrial. We'd ask that those be rezoned to the R-MHP zone. Also, several parcels along Midway Boulevard are currently zoned B-G. That's the business general classification. And we'd also ask that those 3 parcels be rezoned to the R-MHP zoning classification. Our intention is to ultimately consolidate all of these platted lots basically into 2 lots. One is will be almost 30 acres and the other will be just over an acre. Just to give the board a little bit of background, UMH is a 50-year-old company. They're a publicly traded REIT. That's a real estate investment trust that appears on the stock exchange. And the board should know that they have never sold a park in their history. So they own and operate manufactured home communities. They own about 122 parks, mainly in the Northeast US here. They manage about 23,000 developed home sites. They purchased this particular community in late 2018 from the Summers family. So also just noting that the Planning Commission had granted unanimous approval with no conditions. So we're very excited. The park owner plans to do is to expand the park to allow approximately 168 new home sites. And the reason I say approximately is that there's a whole big long process that the park owner will need to go through to get approvals from all the different agencies to extend the park. And what we find is generally through that process, through the engineering process, you lose pads and you have to do, say, wetlands mitigation, or you have to provide stormwater management. So typically we lose lots, but right now they're looking for a maximum of 168. That density is actually regulated by the Ohio Department of Commerce. But what we are seeking today is from a positive recommendation from this committee to move forward to full city council on the proposed rezoning. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Monroe. At this time, I'd ask if there's anyone on the panel, on the committees that has any questions. I see Mr. Oswald.
I just wanted to thank UMH for investing in Elyria. I think they've taken a piece of property that's basically not usable and making it usable. This is a definite plus for the city, and I hope everybody sees it this way, and I wanted to thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald. Is there any other comments or questions from anyone on the panel? Does the administration want to weigh in on this? You're good? Okay, thank you. Okay, seeing no further questions or comments, I'll read the complete committee report. We have considered the matter of rezoning request for Pikewood Manor located on Midway Boulevard. This would be adjacent existing to the Parkwood Manor Mobile Home Park. This is an ordinance authorizing the rezoning request for the said properties from light industrial and business general to general manufacturing home park, so that all the parcels will be zoned the same. This was approved by the Planning Commission on October 6th. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you, Mr. Monroe.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, item 4 on the agenda tonight is the matter of a request to rezone property located at 131 Buckeye Street. This is Buckeye State Welding and Fabrication Incorporated. Do we have a representative from Buckeye? Okay, just name, address of the company for the record, please.
Architect and Associates, originally from Elyria, working with Mr. Kenneth Senior and Junior Redinger, who own Buckeye State Welding and Fabricating over on Buckeye Street. Business has been good, short of the new normal that we find, and they have acquired actually 3 parcels to their immediate east. And those 3 parcels, when acquired, had 3 small parcels in the back of them that they're about 33 feet wide and about 52 foot deep. We made a request to consolidate all the parcels inclusive of their current plant. And we found that those 3 little pieces, those little parcels on the back were actually within the adjoining residential multi-zone use general, I think it was residential district. We hope to have that rezoned. We've received unanimous and non-conditional approval through both Planning Commission as well as design review. We do not plan on building on those 3 parcels. As you know, you're required to have a buffer, a substantial rear yard buffer from light industrial to a residential use, and that property would continue to be used for that buffering purpose. We actually plan on putting a retention basin in the back there and then landscaping it appropriately, so we would continue to have the appropriate buffer between the residential and us. I think our goal is just makes sense to have all those parcels under one zoning district. And we're here to answer any questions or to go over it in more detail if you so desire.
Okay, thank you, sir. Are there any questions? Any comments? Okay, this seems pretty cut and dry. Seeing no questions, no comments, I will read the committee report. We have considered the matter of a rezoning request for Buckeye State Welding and Fabrication located at 131 Buckeye Street. This is an ordinance authorizing the request to rezone the property of 131 Buckeye Street from residential to household to light industrial. This matter was also approved by Planning Commission on October 6th. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded. Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thank you, sir.
No, thank you so much for your kind consideration. Appreciate it.
Okay, one more item for the community development portion of the meeting tonight, and that is the matter of a stock liquor license for 114 Antioch Drive LLC, doing business as the Doghouse Bar and Grill, and this would be a Class D5 and D6. The clerk's office has received no information from the police department, and there were no objections at this point. Okay. Law Director Deary.
Through you, Mr. Chair, thank you. My office had a chance to review this earlier today. It just appears that this was a 50-50 ownership situation. It looks like one of the owners is buying out the other one, and that is the explanation for the requested change in the license. So doesn't look like anything else as far in the way of substantive change.
Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Seeing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that the city does not request a hearing.
Okay.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Okay, at this time, I'd ask Mr. Stewart to please call finance for the joint meeting.
I'll call finance to order.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. We have 3 items on the agenda tonight. First one is the approval of the October 13th Joint Community Development and Finance Meeting Minutes. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion has been made and seconded.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. The second item is the matter of a request for a grant for the downtown demolition program for 381 Broad Street. Assistant Safety Service Director Calvert.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. This past July, City Council authorized the creation of the Downtown Demolition Grant Program, which would reimburse building owners up to $50,000 for demolition costs on approved projects. So we have received our first grant application for the demolition of 381 Broad Street. The building has experienced several years of delayed maintenance and has severe structural issues and deterioration of brick. The building has been gutted and destroyed by vandals, and all the copper has been stripped from the building, and the cost to renovate far exceeds the return on investment to rehabilitate it. So the total cost to demolish the building are estimated at $161,320, which exceeds the required match for the program. And all the program requirements have been met, and the Elyria Economic Development Committee approved the application on October 5th. So we are requesting that the committee consider approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody that has any questions? Mr. Oswald.
I feel like I'm doing all the talking tonight. But I just would like to say, this is the same person that's been purchasing property and demolishing them, and there's been another property. I would hope that the city reaches out to this person so we can get together a good game plan of what we would like to have happen in the city of Elyria. I believe this person's got great ideas. We need to get together and make it happen so that it can really bring and revive downtown Elyria. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oswald. Is there any other questions or comments? Mr. Baird.
Yeah, at the Economic Development Committee, we discussed that. And I think that through the mayor, I think, was having conversations as well as Ms. Calvert. And so I think some things will come about. Nobody really is in favor of tearing stuff down all the time, like Mr. Oswald has mentioned. But this piece of property, particularly with the pictures we saw and the deterioration and so on, there's no question it couldn't be revived, so,
Okay.
at least economically. So-
Right.
So just to make the record clear, we did have conversation. Thank you.
Very good, Mr. Baird. We appreciate that. Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments? Okay, there appears to be none, so I will read the complete committee report. We've considered the matter of a request for the downtown demolition application grant program for the property located at 381 Broad Street. This is an ordinance authorizing the applicant of the said program to receive a reimbursement of $50,000 for demolition of the said property. The application has already been approved by the Elyria Economic Development Committee on October 5th, 2020. Could I get a motion from Community Development?
So moved.
Second?
Okay, motion has been made and seconded.
Question?
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Can I get a motion from Finance?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Moved by Ms. Davis. Second by Mr. Tolet. Any further discussion?
Call for the question.
Question's been called. Did you have a question, Ms. Davis?
That's a call.
No, no question. Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Okay, this item is a public hearing, so this is the matter of the third public hearing for the 2021 Community Development Block Grant Action Plan and 2020-2024 Consolidated Update Plan. Notice of public hearing and annual plan availability for the City of Elyria. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held on October 26, 2020 in Elyria City Council Chambers, Elyria City Hall, 131 Court Street, Elyria, Ohio at 6 p.m. This will be concerning the city's formula for the 2021 Community Development Block Grant Program and the 2020-2024 Consolidated Plan and analysis of impediments to Fair Housing Choice Update for 2021. The intent of the plan is to create a housing and community development strategy in which the City of Elyria identifies resources and programs to address various needs for the 2021 program year. The purpose of the public hearing is to review the draft annual action plan and obtain views from citizens on the city's community economic development and housing needs, and provide the opportunity for citizen participation in determining activities to be funded. Do I have any proponents? Ashley.
Thank you. Just as a reminder, tonight is only a public hearing. We are not requesting a formal action to be taken. What we are requesting is for the committee to develop a draft budget of these funds so that we're able to put them out for public comment. At the November 30th committee meeting, we will present before you any comments that we have received, and then at that time, request final consideration so that we can take it to full council. At the last public hearing, we kind of did a brief overview of all the activities that we received funding requests for. I apologize for the technical difficulties that were incurred at that time, but what we did here, just as a recap, is on the screen tonight we have a list of all of the funding requests that were received for this year. So as you can see, we're anticipating to get about $746,473 in 2021 funds. We received a total of almost $1.8 million in funding requests, which means that we have to reduce these requests by just over $1 million. That being said, what we did, as a reminder, the city is going to be receiving an additional $252,000 in CDBG COVID dollars. We are going to have to do a substantial amendment to our current program for these dollars and go through that citizen participation process. But after looking at some of these funding requests, we felt that some of these activities were in COVID response. So what we did on this second budget sheet here was, with those requests that we felt could go into that pot of money, we kind of separated it out. And by doing so, you can see that the public service activities, everyone that applied would be able to receive their full funding amount that they requested. Looking at the public facility activities, engineering submitted 4 requests by priority, and we also received a request for a West Park Trail, which we did determine with HUD that that was ineligible at this time. And we also have on there our typical administration, housing rehab, and code enforcement activities. So what we're asking for you to do tonight is just to take a look at this. You can move money around. We will add, subtract as you feel necessary. But at the end of the day, where that red number is, where it says $68.35, it's got to come to zero. So if you have any questions, comments, we're willing to get started and see what we can do.
We don't need to take away.
Okay, thank you, Ashley. Mrs. Mitchell?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. Ashley, thank you and Mona for your hard work. This is the first year that we've ever been able to fully fund the nonprofits thanks to the COVID dollars, so that's a good thing. But I just have a quick question. Under Salvation Army for utility assistance, couldn't that also be COVID dollars?
Yes, that could be applied to COVID dollars. Right now, Salvation Army has CDBG 2020 funds. They do have CDBG COVID funds as well. And the reason why we kept it in 2021 here is because they can help the same resident with an additional 3 months if we keep it in 2021. So if we just add to the COVID money, they can only help one resident with 6 months, and now it can be 9 months if we keep them in 2021.
Thank you for that explanation. Thank you.
Mr. Tolet?
Through you, Mr. Chairman. When you presented this in the economic development meeting, I looked at it for 2 more days after that, and how you did this is outstanding. Very nice how this was done. I'm blown away by it.
Thank
A lot of thought put in. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Mrs. Davis?
Yes, through you, Mr. Chair. So everyone, because I looked at all the files, I looked over, but, so is everyone getting every dollar that they asked for? You didn't have, in the beginning, you didn't have to take away any money?
That is correct. We did not reduce anyone's budgets based on what you see here in terms of the public service activities. Now, the public facility improvements, as I had mentioned, engineering did submit multiple requests based on priority. And with the dollar amounts that were left over, that's, you know, if you want to choose priority 1, 2, 3, South Park, that's up to you. What we did with the administration was we capped it out at the 20% like we normally do. The housing rehab, that budget is what we typically fund every year. It allows us to complete anywhere between 15 to 20 emergency home repairs, and it also assists with the salaries and soft costs for our departments. And code enforcement, because there is going to be carryover from the 2020 funds, we did reduce that down to $65,000, but ultimately that pays for the code enforcement inspectors. So with those dollar amounts, we were looking at about $194,000 if you chose to keep the public service as it's presented before you right now.
Well, I was just wondering about the $68.35. So if anybody was going short that you hadn't granted all of their money, this $68.35 could surely go to them.
That's correct. So with how this is currently presented, that $68.35 needs to go somewhere. Yeah, so I don't know if you'd want to throw it into just the public facility because that budget was reduced, or wherever you want to put it, if you choose to keep this as it is.
Thank you.
Mr. Sarah?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I also want to thank your office for getting this done the way you did. This might be the best thing that came out of COVID, to be able to fund all these different programs to their entirety. Thank you.
Are there any other questions, comments? Appears not at this time, so I will continue to ask, are there any proponents? Are there any proponents?
Come up and speak.
Are there any proponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Oh. Before I get to the last opponent, does anybody want to place the $68.35 into a column? I see we got a hand from Mr. Jesse.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, through you. I would give it to Spark Theater.
Say that one more time.
I would give it to Spark Theater.
Okay, we have a suggestion. Does everybody agree with that?
Through you, I would recommend putting that in the 2021 allocation because that's the dollar amount that we really got to get down to the zero.
Okay.
So with the Spark Theater, if we're proposing to put it into the COVID dollars, we are going to need to keep that 6835 under the 2021 allocation column.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Does everybody feel comfortable with where these numbers are?
Absolutely.
Okay, boy, you're right. This is a little different this year, to say the least. Okay. Okay, and then one more time. Are there any opponents?
I got a question through you, Chair. Does it make sense to put $68 into a whole new agreement as opposed to something that we're already going to fund in 2021? Just for like logistical purposes for you all?
So if we put the $68 in under the 2021 allocation and then we fund them also through the CDBG COVID dollars, they are going to have two separate agreements, two separate reporting requirements. We'll have to set up two separate activities in IDIS, et cetera, if we put that 68 under the 2021. We could put it into a public facility improvement, housing rehab, code enforcement, or one of the public service activities that are funded under the 2021 allocation, which would either be Salvation Army, the Mini Pioneers, Adopt a School, or the Urban Link.
Mr. Baird. Okay, Mr. Baird has suggested Salvation Army.
I'll second that.
Okay, good. Question? All in favor of having that go to the Salvation Army? Good.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all opposed? Okay, Salvation Army it is. That was easy.
Yeah, just as I stated before, I'd like to thank all of you for your assistance with this and the administration and, you know, the rest of the community development departments that did help with this. What we will do is we're going to put this plan together. We're going to put it out for public comment, and November 30th, we will, you know, represent this to you with any comments received. So thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ashley. Okay. Got Mr. Tollett? Okay, no? Okay, thank you. Okay, also, are there any opponents? And are there any opponents? Okay, once again, I'd also like to thank Ashley and her department for the good work. Again, you made it very easy this year, and but you still put a lot of work into it, so we appreciate that very much. With nothing else to be said, the third public hearing on the Community Development Block Grant Action Plan for 2020 and through 2024 has been held. At this time, seeing no further business for community development, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made and seconded.
Question.
Question on the motion. All in favor of the motion, please use the voting sign aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried, meeting adjourned.
Yeah, we'll just carry on. If you need a little break there, Corey, you're good. Yeah. So we're taking it off? Right. So it's removed? Okay. Okay. Oh. All right, we're going to continue on with finance. All of them? Okay. First item on the agenda is the approval of the October 13th, 2020 finance meeting minutes. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Tolet.
Second.
Second by Ms. Davis. Any discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Item number 2. To consider the matter of a cooperation agreement with Elyria Township for the Lake Avenue Sanitary Sewer Extension Project. In order to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with Elyria Township for the said sanitary sewer project, see the attached for estimated costs and breakdowns of shares. The estimated cost, total project costs are as follows. Estimated construction cost is $200,000. Engineering and design is $12,400. And PTI is $1,402 with a total of $213,802. Of that, City of Elyria share is $171,041.60, and Elyria Townships is $42,760.40. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Davis.
Second.
Second by Mr. Baird. Engineer Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Before you is a request for the mayor to authorize the mayor to enter an agreement with the Elyria Township Previously, I talked about this when we brought the sewer to council. Essentially, what it is the city would pick up 80% of the costs of this project. The township would pay the 20%. That's what the alignment of the JED is, and that's why we chose that structure. All the particulars would be handled by the law director's office as far as the final wordage of the agreement. I believe that the township was looking for a couple years to pay this off based on the JED funds. So yeah, this project is a win-win for everyone, and we'd like to move forward with it.
And John, can you remind us where this extension's going from where to where on Lake Avenue?
Yes, currently we have a sewer at the corner of Griswold and Lake Avenue. It'll run south down to property that's owned by the school, and that's where they will abandon their lift station and tie in gravity with the new Westwood campus. Just I guess, just so you know, the dollar figures on the bottom are just arbitrary. That's just to give you an idea of what we're looking at cost-wise between everybody. The real meat and potatoes is the percentages. So whatever it actually comes out is what we would pay.
Right. Is there any questions for Engineer Schneider?
What's the time, excuse me, Mr. Chairman, what's the time frame on this, John?
Time frame is they wanted it in already. Unfortunately, we've been delayed by the Ohio EPA with the PTI. We're waiting for the PTI still, and so they would actually like to have it in already. So unfortunately, we have to jump through all those hoops. So
Yeah, I think the last time I've been at those JED meetings, that's been a priority, and
yes,
they asked. Right. You were at least one or two of those, as I recall, as well. Yeah. So okay, thank you.
Any further discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Item number 3. We've considered the matter of a sewer service agreement between Lorraine County and the City of Elyria in order to authorize the mayor to enter into a sewer service agreement with Lorraine County for sanitary sewers in Elyria Township. Can I get a motion to get on the floor?
So moved, Mr.
Moved by Mr. Baird. Second by Ms. Davis. Engineer Schneider.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We were approached by the Lorraine County to enter into a sewer agreement for the Elyria Township area as far as sewers under 15 inches and under. Ultimately, they would like to have control of the sewers essentially in the township area as much as possible, other than trunk sewers and things of that nature. We do have a JED agreement with the Elyria Township that prohibits a lot of things, annexation, things of that nature. So I don't believe there's any issues there as far as the JED agreement would go. Overall, the county taking over the sewers and the maintenance and some of the other things is going to save the city ultimately money in the future. So I don't see it as being a negative on the city side when it comes to that. So I guess with that, any questions?
Yeah, any questions for the engineer regarding this agreement? Mr. Baird?
Question. Do they have the ability to do that particularly? I mean, the county?
I don't know.
I don't know what their seems like the cities and so on have all the sewers.
Right.
I think we have more equipment and more personnel to take care over, but it's not in the city. They do have other areas in other jurisdictions, like City of Lorraine, where they have these sewer agreements and others. So I don't know what all their capabilities are, unfortunately, but they're obviously getting it done over there. So
so they should have the ability, because it's comfortable with it.
The county engineer is the sanitary engineer for the county as well. So for all the unincorporated areas. So
okay, thank you.
Is there any other further discussion?
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. It's my understanding that item number 4 will be tabled to the next finance meeting. committee meeting? Right. Was that Sam that told you that? All right, item number 5. We've considered passing the resolution of accepting the tax rates from the Lorraine County Budget Commission. A resolution accepting said tax rates from Lorraine County Budget Commission for the fiscal year commencing January 1st of 2021. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved, Mr.
Moved by Mr. Baird.
Second.
Second by Ms. Davis. Finance Director Pileski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you know, every year at this time, the Lorraine County Budget Commission distributes the tax rates for all the entities within the county, and then in turn, we are required to accept those rates in the form of resolution. Once that has been done, I will submit the resolution to the Lorraine County Budget Commission. So basically, it's we get 4.2 mils of the inside millage, and we did move a little bit of that money around between the General Bond Retirement Fund and the General Fund, but basically it's the same every year.
Right. Standard procedures. Any questions from the Finance Director? Any more discussion? Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carried. Yep. Item number 6, we've considered the matter of changes to the 2020 permanent appropriations. In order to authorize and to amend ordinance number 2020-38, the 2020 permanent appropriations as per the attached. Can I get a motion to get it on the floor?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
I guess that was by committee. Can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Baird. Finance Director Pileski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. These all pertain to operations of the Leary Municipal Court, all these changes. The first 3, which are all labeled number 1, have a number 1 on your exhibit, represents, I believe the Muni Court is switching copier companies, so the new company has bought out, issued a check to buy out the old lease, so we need to in turn appropriate that money to get started with a new copier company. So that takes care of the Muni Court Technology Fund, Muni Court Security, and Special Traffic Magistrate. They split the copiers between those funds. The Special Probation Fund is a request to move $3,000 from salary and wages to operating and maintenance. Number 3 pertains to the CARES Act money. If you recall, Council authorized a rather large sum for Muni Court to upgrade their video arraignment system. And in speaking with Judge Bennett, apparently they have to put in 4 switches, some type of switches that are going to cost $20,000, and there's another $2,200 they're requesting to upgrade some software. Collections are off due to COVID, so they're going to make some changes to their software to help them collect delinquent fine monies. So that's why it qualifies for CARES Act money. So in order to do that, I'm recommending that we move $22,200 from the COVID staffing line department into the Muni Court to cover that $22,200. And the final change is Leary Muni Recovery Court. They received additional grant monies, appropriating those monies into salary and wages, benefits and pension, and operating and maintenance.
Okay. Any questions for the Finance Director? Ms. Davis?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Could you repeat that again about those switches that they're asking for with Muni Court?
Yeah, I don't know much about it. but they put in a new video arraignment system. And they had to put in some type of extra equipment that they didn't count on when they did this project, and that those switches amount to $20,000. So that's in order to complete the new video arraignment system.
Yeah, Ms. Davis.
Through you, Mr. Chair, could that $20,000 also be under COVID? Is it any way we could, is that part of COVID or no?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's in the CARES Act fund, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Is there any further discussion?
Question.
Question's been called. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Through you, Chair. I have a quick comment I wanted to make about just CARES in general, whether now or towards the end.
That's the last item on the agenda, Mayor, so this is it.
So, in terms of the CARES Act, so what we're hoping to do, going into our next, meeting is, to really go through all of the, and I'll talk to Councilman Tolet about this, go through everywhere where we haven't spent money in any of those categories and move it into a category so that we meet our deadline in terms of, from the state. Because keep in mind, if we don't spend the money, the way it's written now, if we don't spend the money, we not only have to give it back, but we also aren't eligible for any additional money that's available. Sure. And so we have a plan in place right now to go through you all, get all that money allocated to reimburse for public safety. So all our money will be spent out, which will then put us in a position where, from what I hear, there's going to be more money available for us because of some other municipalities not taking advantage of it.
And what was the extended deadline, Mayor? Was it November the 15th, or is that?
I believe it was November 20th. So we
November
want
20th?
to get this on the next, we want to have this done by that meeting on the 16th.
No, and I thought when we were initially getting the CARES Act, there was, in the process of going through that, they thought by mid-November we would have a report. Now, is that something that the administration or you guys are going to do, or is that something from someone representative from the government or somebody who's initiating this would be give us an update on where those are at?
Yeah, so there is a reporting that goes through finance. There's a financial report that they're asking for that you know, I would have to ask the director on where that is at, but then there's another report at the end towards the November 20th deadline as well.
I thought there was personnel or somebody going to be explaining the midpoint of this October. Maybe I'm misinformed on that. I thought there was like some type of discussion period or something like that. They were going to say where the funds are at, where we're at, we're using these funds, what other opportunities there are. And I know that's what you're speaking to now.
Yeah.
But I thought there was going to give us like a halfway point of some sort of follow-up, but
yeah,
I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that the staff is still looking to provide you with those businesses that got funded and those nonprofits that got funded. So maybe as a part of that meeting where we talk about reallocation, we also report out on how things have been spent.
Okay, very good. Mr. Tolet.
Through you, Mr. Chair, on that same note, Mr. Plesky, this week, the state of Ohio just announced their CARES Act funding. In it was private citizen utility funding payments money. Can we, as the city, submit our water bills directly to that fund and eliminate going directly to the end user so that we get paid first instead of it going from the state to the resident to us? It go directly from the state to us on delinquent water bills.
Through you, Mr. Chair, I don't know the answer to that question, but my gut feeling is that no, we cannot do that, but I will look into it.
I thought about that. I looked at that, how they were doing this funding, and my concern is, and I'm going to take the high road on this, that someone would use those funds if they received it,
to pay their bill.
Possibly for food instead of to pay their water bill. I'll say it that way. And instead of it being paid directly, the state may come out and issue a check to Leary Utilities Department to them.
I think the way it's set up now, maybe the mayor can help me out on this, but we issued a check to the Salvation Army, I believe, and the Salvation Army is working with the individuals who haven't been able to pay their utility bills. So I know we can't pay ourselves with the CARES Act money. It has to go through another agency that will work with the individuals, and they determine whether or not they qualify for assistance.
But the new state funding that was released this week?
Yeah. So through your chair.
Whitfield.
So most times when you're doing these assistance programs, there's very rarely a direct check to an individual. Most of the time, like the Salvation Army's operation, they sit you down, they look at what your bills are, then they cut that check directly to your bill. So they see, okay, you got this utility bill, you got this rent bill. The check doesn't get written out to the individual; it goes straight to the entity that's owed. This money that's coming from the state, from what I've read, it's going to go through the Community Action Agency, so Lorain County Community Action Agency, and I believe they have the same process where it goes directly to the vendor. Through you, the last report that I got from Ms. Connor, I think we're down 560,000. But that was a couple meetings ago, so I'm not sure if any letters have gone out yet. I'm not sure where that is, but. So through you, Chair.
Did you want to weigh in on that?
Yeah,
Mayor?
so we've sent letters out, and in those letters, we included information on how to get assistance, the number to the Salvation Army, as well as the website, youkanapply.org, and encourage folks. And then I just got an email earlier today. We're going to be doing some door hangers to let folks know in that communication as well that, hey, here's information to get assistance. So.
Okay, very good. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
Move we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Mr. Baird, second by Mr. Tolet. Any discussion?
Question.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye, opposed nay. Motion carried.